Beth just said goodbye to her polka dot heels.
Goodbye?
She sold them on Mercari to Shelley, who gladly said
hello.
Just after she said goodbye to a set of bright orange cookware.
Really, Mom? Citrus?
They sold quickly on Mercari to Dan.
Oh, these are groovy.
Then Dan sold his rollerblades on Mercari.
Bye-bye. I bike now.
Which took us back to where we started with Beth, who said,
Hello, rollerblades. Whee!
Buy and sell almost anything from home with Mercari, your marketplace. Find it on the app stores or Mercari.com.
When I saw Menace to Society, I really contemplated sitting inside my brother's car to rob a store.
Yo, we're back for another episode of The Cray. I think this is our 300th episode, Sean.
299th, but close.
Okay,
dude, we're right on the eve of gold watches.
Number one in the country.
We are, right? I thought it was number one globally.
Unofficial numbers, of course.
In the country. We're still here, baby. But we got a lot of great guests here tonight.
Yeah, we got a couple really good guests. We got, of course, one of my favorites, legend status, Miss Macy Gray.
Yes.
And then, of course,
Allen Hughes.
Yes.
Video director extraordinaire, music director extraordinaire, great
Dude,
guy.
He's made some of the greatest films ever, man.
I mean, Menace to Society, Dead
Menace to
Presidents.
Society.
Book of
From Hell.
Eli from Hell.
Crazy.
He crushes it, man. The Defiant ones, I fucking love it.
one half of the Hughes brothers.
One half of the Hughes brothers.
We couldn't get the full Hughes brothers. We got one half.
We got one
of the
half.
Hughes brothers.
Yeah, well, they're twins, bro, so it's the same shit anyway,
It's
right?
same shit.
Yeah,
It's
they're kind of similar,
two
you
for
know?
one.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, crazy week. It's been crazy, you know, and let's get into the Cray.
Let's get into the crazy.
That man right there.
Right there.
Is legendary filmmaker.
Yep.
Producer.
Yep.
Allen Hughes.
Allen Hughes.
Hello.
Well, listen. First off,
Hi, guys.
welcome to the Cray. We're super excited to have you. There's a lot of stuff we want to talk about, from politics to Tupac to movies to documentaries. You're doing it all right now, and you look good. You look good.
Do I look effervescent?
I
mean, highly moisturized.
You're glowing. You're glowing.
You do. I think it's the lights, though, man. But you got to glow for sure.
Yeah, you gotta
What's the theme?
The theme?
No, not with me. Like, with
The theme of the show.
You guys' whole show. What's the theme?
You know, we live in crazy times. A lot of crazy shit is happening, and I think this is like the best place to come to kind of like let it all hang out, so to speak.
Right.
So
And
we need
also
to talk.
see how long you could do that before you get canceled. You know what I mean?
That's
so
why I was
it's
asking.
yeah,
I sweat, bro. I sweat every time I'm on my way
That's
here.
what I
I'm
was
like,
asking.
today's the day.
Yeah.
Today's the day.
You say some dumb shit.
and it's a canceled.
Yeah.
Did you hear that shit that? And I got very mixed feelings about my man Quentin Tarantino and his films. But did you hear what he said on Joe Rogan about Bruce Lee?
No, what do you
No,
say?
what
So
did
he
say?
says. I was wearing Bruce Lee's shirt today. That's why I was thinking about it. First of all, it's only like one Asian super juggernaut hero in the last 100,000 years. It's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You threw the nigga up against the car and embarrassed his lady. Leave it at that.
Right,
Yeah.
I guess he's on Joe Rogan today. He's like, well, or a few days ago, Bruce Lee didn't respect American stuntmen, and he got his ass whipped because people are like, asshole. Bruce Lee is American.
Right.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the original scene, as written, Brad Pitt was meant to really beat his ass, and Brad was like, "Cute, like it's Bruce Lee, man."
It's Bruce Lee. Like, why you want to do that?
Now we're in these interesting times. To your point, that, like these.
Well, I mean, when
these-
did that drop? When did that pod drop?
That was like
Rogan?
it just had to be the last 48 hours.
yeah, it
Last
just came
48
out.
hours, and there's not a whole Stop Asian Hate campaign against like Tarantino.
Yeah.
I mean,
But see,
if you're calling
interesting.
an Asian American un-American, it's a little bit of a problem.
I remember
It's a
Kareem
problem.
Abdul-Jabbar came out with like
Yeah,
a
that's
nice
a problem.
piece immediately after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, and he was basically talking about how he and Bruce Lee were friends and how Bruce Lee was just never this petty, egotistical guy that would want to fight, on set, and he was really upset with the scene in the film. And this came out.
I
this was,
think
like, a couple years
listen,
ago.
I'm a Bruce Lee fan too.
Yeah,
And
me
think,
too.
like,
I got
you
a
know,
Bruce
but-
Lee room in my house, literally with everything Bruce Lee ever did.
Right.
I got Bruce Lee's
He's pretty-
pajamas.
he's pretty-
legend.
I'll say two things about one. He's got some of the greatest quotes of all time, man. In terms of inspirational quotes, him and Ali, right? That's number one. Number two is, I can't remember what it was, but it's a buddy of mine who's Asian. Well, I mean, I obviously have a few Asian friends, and they said growing up, the only person they could look at that represented them, who was sexualized, was Bruce Lee.
By the way,
So they grew
what
up
you just
yeah,
said right
yeah,
there,
yeah,
that's the
that's-
thing to underscore. They say who was sexualized.
Yeah, because
they
you-
asexualize all Asians in Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I kind of felt that. I went, yeah, man, I get it. My son's half, Hispanic. on his mom's side, not my Jew side.
Yeah, not that side.
And not on my Jew ass side.
Mazel tov.
But you know, and I look at it and I kind of go like, man, you know, there's a lot of cool Hispanics, you know, but I think there could be more that represent more, you know, in different areas, not just.
And listen, I can't speak for
not
I
as
can't
symbols,
speak for
but-
everybody, but Bruce Lee was fly in the hood, like
First.
first in the urban community. I remember growing up as a kid. Everybody got the nunchucks. Everybody doing karate chops.
Shit, I had all that too, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
and
so,
Kung Fu, David Carradine. You guys were gonna do
Oh
that.
my
at one
God!
point.
Listen, that was his idea. They wouldn't cast him, but O'Neal just hit it. Black folks blew Bruce Lee up first.
Right.
First.
He was an urban hero.
He was
first.
an urban hero
and those
first.
nickel theaters.
Yep.
You know.
Right. Yep.
And then he blew up after that. So when we watched this, and I don't want to get, because I'm a filmmaker, I don't want to talk too much about another filmmaker, but
Right.
and we were talking before we came on about, you know, when you look at the woke culture to the left, and then you look all the way to the right, they're all assholes on both extremes, right?
Right.
But there is this middle ground where you're like, come on, man, like Brad says, it's Bruce, man, what the fuck,
it's
man?
Bruce.
Right.
It's
You know?
Bruce.
Yeah.
When they threw
Right.
Bruce into
Fuck,
the side
man.
of the car, I was like, what? That's Bruce Lee.
But I mean, yeah, but so much of it is fucking. I don't know, you know. I mean, how much of it? Is it better if I ask it as a question? How much of it is just supposed to be like kind of like hyperbole and exaggeration?
I feel like
With
the whole
him?
film,
because
was.
you are.
The ending was totally different from reality.
The whole film.
Right, but so is right, but so is Inglorious
Even though that film had
Bastards.
no narrative.
None. I enjoyed it. Yeah, me
enjoyed
too.
the film.
Yeah.
See,
exactly.
I saw that scene, but I tuned out, man. Like an hour
Nothing
into it,
to
dude, the cars were whipping through the Hollywood Hills. I'm like, first off, no motherfucker drives through the hills that fast without traffic.
Yeah.
Two, I get stuck behind every fucking delivery
Lot of shoe
Amazon
leather.
truck.
Lot of shoe leather in those
Motherfuckers
hills.
parking. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like these motherfuckers just ripping around the hills, and also I do that every day. So I'm like, the fuck, I want to watch other people do it for you. You know what I mean? But like, I just passed out. I think I might have had a mild case of COVID or something. But
Mild.
no, I didn't.
Is there a
I think it was,
mild?
Is
no,
there a
it was
mild?
Is there a
pre-COVID.
mild case?
It was
Yeah,
pre-COVID.
pre-COVID.
You know.
I want his beard barber.
Oh no, his shit is
I want
immaculate.
his beard barber.
He like an R&B singer.
Yeah, he's
Fly.
big on the fade, man.
I
Big
think
on the
that-
fade.
that-
He's
that
young,
fade,
man. He's
you
young.
know?
His, you know what I mean. His hair's still new. Our hair is like scraggly.
new.
It's
How old are
fucking
you?
the colors are
33.
changing.
I'll be 34 next
Jesus
month.
Christ.
33.
That's what I'm saying. He's the baby, man. He's the baby. You
I
know.
got back hair older than you. It's fucking crazy.
I can't even grow a beard, man. I got no facial hair here or there. You know, it's just like.
Keep shaving one spot, you'll get it. I saw this clip of Dick Gregory right before he passed.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the Miles Davis film, and he looked like an old Snoop Dogg, and he's telling the reporter, it's a light-skinned black. He's
Yeah.
like, you like that shit, nigga?
Yeah.
You like that shit, nigga? Yeah. Shame on you. He's like, that Miles Davis movie that was.
Yeah.
He's like, the outfits weren't even right. He went in.
I love when he did
went
go.
in.
I love when he go, huh?
Oh,
That's it. That was it.
you know.
You like that shit? Huh?
Oh, you said it too.
Yo, that's it. And I said to myself, I want to do podcasts when I'm 70 just for my, because then you could just be like, fuck all these niggas, man. Fuck everyone. Yeah.
Well, I think we're trying to find like the way to do that now without alienating anybody. You know?
Now he pulled back.
Yo, you know,
He did pull back.
Yeah, he did.
yeah, we're trying to figure out.
Pretty
We're trying to
masterfully
figure
as
out
well.
how to
He's
say.
turning red.
I'm trying to figure out how to say "fuck you" to everybody
Without actually.
while I'm unfucking them. You know?
Exactly.
No, I want to say one thing about that. That is so funny. I didn't see that, but I was watching that Son of Sam doc that they just did. It was pretty good, man. It was kind of cool because it was about this one journalist. I forgot his name. Who was kind of like, his theory is that Son of Sam was part of this greater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This cult. He was part of a cult of multiple killers, and those killings were done by several people.
Yeah.
But the best thing, I forgot the top cop in Manhattan is like addressing the press. And it's a room full, like hundreds of people, and somebody fires out a question. He goes, "Shut the fuck up." He's like, "You could have asked me at the other fucking day." Like, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't know, this isn't the exact words, but he's screaming, "Fuck you, you fucking this." And I'm like, holy shit, man. That was like 40 years ago. Press conference had a whole different vibe.
Wow.
Bro, it was crazy.
What
It was
network was that one on?
It was just like a Netflix thing. I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, it was Netflix. Yeah,
it's like a 4-part
I started
series
watching
or
it,
something.
yeah.
It's really good, man. It was good. I mean, it's not as good as The Night Stalker, but you know, they're
I
both
didn't
good,
really
man.
like the Night Stalker that much.
See, I liked it because that guy Tiller, man, he really gets into the characters, right? You know what I mean? That's part of his
cops,
thing.
they
It's
got
like,
into the life.
yes,
of the,
that's what I kind of like. Is like, you know, most docs just follow the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna talk to you because you made one of the best docs in the last decade. You know what I mean? That series.
Right.
Did
The
you guys
Defiant
see
ones,
Did
you
you guys
know?
see the Kings, the Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, and
I haven't seen
Hitman
that yet.
Hearns one on
Not yet.
Showtime?
Not
I
yet.
like
No,
that
I gotta
one.
see that.
It's
So
just-
that's my
I'll check that out
era.
this
It must be
weekend.
really
That's my
good
4th of
because he
July
don't like
weekend.
shit. So
It's
it
good.
must be really
Doc.
good.
Yo, I loved Hagler, man. I was real sad when Hagler died, and
man.
Hitman Hearns, man. He,
Yep.
you know,
He did a
I
good
got a
job.
little autograph
Yeah.
picture from Hitman Hearns. My buddy Mike Young got me.
My
He had a
hometown.
Detroit, of course, Detroit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But let's talk to Allen, man. Where should we start with this
No,
guy?
let's talk about the Cray politics. You know, you made the vote mask, and everybody was rocking it. Joe Biden, Barack Obama. Why at that point did you feel like you needed to do that?
Well, you did, you know, with the vote campaign, you were like a year ago. This is after all the George Floyd stuff, you know. And I've been wanting to go like as an image maker and a guy that loves marketing too, more than anything. I'm like, man, how can I take my talent and do something with it that is meaningful? And we were all frustrated. It doesn't matter what side of the fence we were on. Most of us with a brain were on the right side of the fence going, damn, we have to really turn out and vote. And the message was, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Independent, people just need to vote and just shut the fuck
Right.
up. Let's just stop arguing and bickering.
Right.
Just vote. So I'm hiking one day, and this is back when nobody had anything on mask. You know, like it was just mask.
Right.
I had an idea for the midterms a couple years ago. I was working with Jimmy Iovine about putting duct tape over people's and put like prison reform, education.
Oh, that's cool, man.
This is like 2 years ago. And I'm
Great.
hiking
Jimmy
one-
would have sold that company for like $1 bill. Or something. He'd be like, you know, the duct tape man.
duct
You know,
tape
it
brand.
looks great with
It's
the
a
beach.
great idea,
Put a
Alan.
little
You did a
beach
great
sign
job.
on the side of it
You
or
did a
some
great
shit.
job. You used to put the duct tape on your lip.
Oh man, I was in the sticks though, and I was like, yo man, everyone feels so like repressed right now, and they can't say anything and they can't express themselves. And the look of a mask, I just thought of this black mask, and I said, vote.
Right.
White, like the Defiant Ones logo, you know. And I ran down a hill, and then I realized, because the first 5 minutes, it was all celebrities.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
everyone from Larry David, Magic Johnson, you name it, everyone
Right.
was rocking it.
Yep.
Big viral camp. Free. I did it for free. I had no money. I had no backing, except for partnered with Michelle Obama's When We All Vote, which is really good partner. So when I say I have no partner. And then Bloomingdale's, which sold it online and in the stores. And then the 2 weeks before the election, Barack Obama, the first time he walked out on stage, we hadn't heard from him, he walked out with the mask.
Wow.
Boom. And it was on every event, even
Yeah.
that three-pointer he shot. And
Amazing.
so this is what I do. He had it on. Joe didn't wear it until the Georgia runoff, which was dope, after the election.
How did we get to this place where the dialogue is just, you know, the rhetoric is just so far off, and people can't find a middle ground to communicate
You know,
anymore.
yeah.
And people are being held to like
Yeah.
this task, you know,
Yeah.
to you know of what they say and how they do it. I mean,
You know,
it all
I
plays
actually
into
think
it,
it's
right?
real simple. I think this is really simple. You know, if you look at like in the entertainment business, let's just talk about movies. There are no men anymore. There's no Clint Eastwoods no
none,
more. There's no
none.
Mel Gibsons anymore.
None, bro,
Pre-Jew
none.
shit, by the way. You know, there's no
they find
Denzels
some and then
anymore.
they stick them in like Marvel
So
movies.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
They
but
find
no,
would-be men,
but
and-
quite
right.
frankly, there's no men in those. I'm just gonna go
Right.
now. Just say we don't. So if there are no men, then I give women more credit. There's some women you could find out there, right?
Right.
Worth something. There's no leadership.
Right.
You look at what's happening with
So then you agree, because a couple other people in pods I've heard, they talk about like the emasculation of Americans. I mean,
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
There's no. I mean,
You're getting canceled, bro.
I'm gonna cancel myself.
Me too, man. That's why I'm doing a pod.
I think you have to change the
I'm
name
sliding
to
into
the
it.
cancel.
We might.
The cancel.
No, I just think that, you know, the guys I grew up watching, you know, there was masculinity, you know what I mean? And I think that we are at this kind of critical time where the content will get shrunken, and like the kind of
Well, look
stories
at
we
this
see
though.
will
Check
shrink.
this out though. When you watch news, going deeper to what you're saying, beyond masculinity right now, but to what we're talking about, there's only one guy I watch every night, which is Brian Williams on MSNBC. Because he's an old school newsman.
Yeah.
Right. And he's also one of the first guys who got canceled.
Yeah, right?
He got canceled.
So when you look, when we all came up, there was Peter Jennings, there was Tom Brokaw,
Dan Rather.
There was those three.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
I like
in the
Brokaw,
80s.
man. I always fuck with Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw?
I see
Tom
him,
Brokaw
I see
was
him now.
official. He's official.
Yes, and he's gotten so old, man. He reminds me how old I've gotten. You know what I mean?
But they're official.
Yeah.
And now you don't have, the reason why I watch Brian Williams, I go, oh, this dude's...
He's like that of that era.
He's
that
official.
Yes.
Cut from that
Because
cloth.
Dan Rather made me feel safe. He
did?
Oh, yeah. Dan Rather? Dan Rather made me feel safe.
Here's a tranquilizing effect.
Barbara Walters made me feel safe. Christiane Amanpour.
Amanpour.
Yo, she's pretty hardcore, man.
She's dope.
She did some dope war coverage, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Is this like a weed table? Is this what this is?
Oh, this is the Cray tray.
The Cray tray.
Yeah, you want to give you a 90-second shout-out right now to the Neanderthal people?
Shout out to our boys, Chris Jones and company over at Neanderthal Fire Company for hooking us up with this special surprise, the Cray tray.
Before the election, though, when the culture is going around making these Karen videos,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, I said, we got a problem. Now, this may be controversial. You know, you go, you guys are alienating white women now?
Right.
I'm talking about liberals
Yeah.
and Democrats.
Right.
Now, you could, clown for a little bit, call a few women Karen, like for a few weeks, then move on.
Right.
Now, this whole Karen thing is just
It's
took
stuck.
off.
Oh, yeah,
It's
took
took
off.
off.
The baby named
That's
Karen.
dangerous.
No one names
there's
their
a
kid
new
Karen
movie
anymore.
on BET called Karen.
Is it BET that
Yeah,
god awful film?
You got a film called Karen.
Yeah.
You know the actress. I forgot her name. The little blonde chick. What's
That
that?
doing like a
that
take
really
on the
narrows
film.
it down.
Who the fuck wants to play the role of Karen?
Well,
You should
you
see it.
know
Like,
it.
hey, I would love to play the role of Karen. That's fucking Karen. She's in the airport.
Yeah. She's playing Karen, and this black family moves into this predominantly white neighborhood, and it's like her job to get them out. And the movie's called Karen. I think it's on BET. I don't
They
want
just
to
caught an
BET
ass
on the
whooping
bus.
because everyone was like, "This is a rip off of Jordan Peele shit."
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
true, exactly.
Yeah.
What I saw
Throwing
when
up in the
Barack
mouth.
got elected with the whole Hope campaign, what I saw was just nationwide pride and inspiration. At least from my perspective, it seemed like everybody celebrated the fact that this change was coming for like 6 months.
But what really went
6
on-
months
yeah.
after he became president. But then you could see it. He got like a grace period, right, with Congress, and then it slowly slid into opposition, which plays to your point, right?
Let me say something, man. Like, the bottom line here is, let's just talk about human beings. When you look at Trump, when you look at Josh Hawley, when you look at Ted Cruz, when you look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, these are pieces of shit.
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's a monster.
These people are pieces of shit, though. Like, let's just step back from the politics. When you talk about the 75 million people that voted for Trump, these are mothers and
said
fathers.
72, but
75 though.
Oh, was
it?
okay, yeah.
Right.
Wow.
These are mothers and fathers and grandparents and whatever
Right.
who know that this man's a piece of shit.
And he
Right.
still voted.
And they got children and they got grandchildren and they don't care.
Right.
Okay, so when people go, wait a minute, not all 75 people are stupid. Like, yeah, that's true, but they got hate in their hearts.
Right.
You got hate in
They
hearts.
got hate in their hearts.
But listen, we can talk about politics, religion for hours. Let's get into this Tupac documentary, man. Because we're talking about, Tupac was, he was derived from a Black Panther. He understood. He was a young kid rapping about, he said Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole. You can't understand the way this game's told. So he was talking about politics. He was talking about the state of America. He was talking about young black people and how, cops killing kids, the whole shit. So let's talk about your relationship with Tupac. Let's talk about this documentary. Like, how did it all begin?
It's interesting that Tupac, after all that crazy last year of his life, has become a beacon for social justice, is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
he's
just become fucking iconic.
I mean, he's a rock
Him
star.
and Biggie
beyond.
are just
Yeah.
fucking iconic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
I don't
Elvis
think,
and
and
shit.
I personally love, like, Biggie's my guy,
Yeah.
right? But Biggie doesn't have the global impact of like, Tupac is a
Right.
rock star.
Yeah.
Beyond
Right.
hip hop,
A global
And
icon.
Global icon.
Yeah.
But to his background with his mother and what I've learned about the Panthers, they were a very inclusive organization. accepted white people, gay people. They were not. People think they're like black race, like racist nationalists. They were not that. Tupac came up in a very eclectic culture around the Panthers, and that's what I'm learning about his upbringing. Is that and you see Tupac in the interviews. You see him when he's out and about, because there's a condition that black folks sometimes have where they get a little tight around white people, especially when they get in the CEO's office. They get a little tight,
Right.
Tupac was not tight because he was around it, and he had loved ones that were from all cultures. So I'm learning that about him. But I met him when we were both 19. And I was doing his first music video on one of our first music videos,
Brenda's got a baby.
How'd you guys get? You guys saw that? Like, again, I was just, I've known you for a long time, man, and I was like, I never really looked like through Allen's like history in his past, and I was looking up to it, and I'm like, shit, man, before you guys even made Menace, you guys had done like big music videos. You did it for Pac, you did it for my dude from the '90s that I fucking
did Too
love.
Short. Did Tone Loc even?
Tone Loc, that's what I was thinking of,
Digital
man.
Underground,
You
NWA.
gotta check out, you gotta make the call on them portions.
It's crazy for me because, like I said, I grew up in South Carolina. I can remember being in my living room watching Brenda's Got a Baby, the black and white video. He's wearing the UNLV, and you walking beside him in the street. And like I said, obviously we're friends now. We've been friends since 2005. It's still crazy that you had an opportunity to be around Tupac and that whole movement. Did you know then Tupac was going to be as big as he is now, or even a superstar?
It's funny that you asked that question because that was the second music video. We did 3 of his first music videos. We met him on our first music video, which was a Digital Underground crew video, And I met him at a walk. We went up to meet Raw Fusion, which was Money B, and Dave was the white DJ Fuse. And we went to go meet. Oh shit! Somebody's coming in. we went to go meet. I went to go meet the Digital Underground guys at a Waffle House. But this guy, Money B, was the star of and this guy Dave was. These are the guys in the group. And there's Shock G, and there's this kid at the end of the table who was hilarious. He was just roasting everyone. I didn't know who he was. Tupac hadn't had an album out. Juice didn't come out, and I just was taken with this kid. So I went to the bathroom. He came to the bathroom. He was like, I just signed a record deal. I saw you guys as little short films. This is our first, before we even shot our first music video. Our first music video, he goes, I'm going to get them, I'm going to hire you for my first music videos. I'm like, bullshit, whatever. But I was so taken with him. The next day when we showed up, me and my brother couldn't sleep that night. We were so excited because it's literally our first professional day shooting something. And I just kept asking him, when's Tupac going to, when's Tupac going to? I told him to show up because we were going to shoot back then you would shoot little short film before the video to show that you're a director,
Right.
And just waiting. I'm just waiting for this guy to show up with this funny name. And he finally showed up, and I put him right in the middle of the scene. And you can look the music video up. It's called Throw Your Hands in the Air. Raw Fusion is the group. And everybody, Shock is there, whatever. You could see something special about this dude. That I waited for him, and he's not even the group I'm there for.
But it was a legitimate collaborative effort with you guys over the years, and also a friendship.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and
he went a little south. At one point.
He's the reason why Menace got a green light because Bob Shea at New Line says you got to hire a platinum rap artist in order. By the way, Tupac was in platinum. He didn't know that.
Right.
But the friendship was it wasn't just business. Like I would pick him up at Burbank Airport because he lived in Oakland at the time. And I remember at first, O'Neal, to answer your question, he would always pop his tapes in. And I didn't like what he was doing with his voice because he would double his voice up a lot. And I thought he had a real rich voice. I'm like, why is he doing all this doubling shit? He's got such a rich voice. And we did a first music video was called Trapped, which is about, black males in the prison system and just the culture trapped, And that did well. We started shooting Brenda's Got a Baby like 2 months later, and I put my eye through the lens when he was sitting with that little girl, that little baby girl, and I went, holy fuck, I just see the symmetry alone, and I was like, this dude is a star.
Right.
But to walk around the world, whether you're in Africa or Paris or whatever, and to see his image like that, I never would have thought. Never would have thought. I knew he was definitely special. He had an energy.
Yeah.
Like he come in the room. I don't care if Tom Cruise and Denzel were in the room. No one's looking at those dudes. They're gonna fuck with Tupac before he was famous.
Right.
He had that kind of
Got you.
charisma. Yeah.
Got you. So he just had that energy, that
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
So about this documentary, how did this documentary happen? Like, how did it come into place? Because, like I said, when I met you in 2005, I remember when we first met, we was joking, and you was like, this nigga look like Tupac coming out of a microwave, little like they threw Tupac in a microwave and threw him back out, and he was you. And you know, when I got the call from you to come work on the Tupac doc, you know, I was gassed, do some voiceover stuff, some stand-in stuff. I was like super gassed. Just for me, it became full circle watching you and Tupac on TV, and now being on set and being in the sound booth, and I'm robbing Tupac. You know what I mean? So that was crazy to me. So how did this documentary become full circle?
I'm watching your hands right now because in the edit, I said, "Whose itty bitty hand is that playing Tupac's hand?" And it was. They go, "I thought it was I thought it was Jarrell, like the big guy."
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, that's O'Neal because it's supposed to be Tupac at the top."
Yo, that's funny, bro.
I just was in the editing room today. I go, "Whose fucking hand is that?" They go, "No, that's O'Neal's hand."
Yo, that's funny, man.
No, what happened was I was set to do.
So what is it? But it's a recreation. That's what you're talking about. Like,
I don't believe in those. So
then how is it?
It's like these very specific visuals. I believe in this 5-part docuseries I'm doing right now. Like, I'm only gonna shoot like objects, you know, like environments, street signs,
and people's fingers.
and people, you know,
And my little
you'll
hands.
feel, you're not no reenactment stuff. I don't know why I went.
No,
that
I don't
way.
like reenactments.
Cut that part out.
No, I don't like.
No, we tried it
reenactments
though.
either,
I
man.
actually shot reenactments.
Yeah,
and I cut them
I don't
out.
like
Yeah.
docs or reenactments, man. They pull me out of that shit. You know what I mean?
I was set to do the Marvin Gaye feature film 3 years ago. We working with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine to get the rights and this stuff.
Right.
That was the only thing I had in the agenda. Then I got a call from the Tupac estate, and they said they wanted to meet because all I knew was that Steve McQueen, the director from the UK, was going to do the Tupac documentary.
Right.
I guess it didn't work out, and they called me, and they were very sweet, and they just, you know, in a very sweet way said, "We really would like you to do this film." And I said, I don't know if I can, because there is an emotional thing with me and Tupac and our history, and it didn't end well, although we did make
Right,
up.
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
I remember you told me a story, like there was like just some altercation, and there were all the guys around, and it was just kind of.
And his fans are nuts.
Right.
You know, not all of them, but
by the
extreme.
way, everybody's fucking fans are nuts.
That's true.
man.
Everybody's
Real
fans of
fans.
Cray. Everybody fans of Cray.
They're real fans.
Real fans,
That's
right. Fanatic.
So, and you just mentioned the Marvin Gaye movie, so that just got announced a week ago in the big trade magazines. So like, let's talk about that. Like, how did that even happen? The Marvin Gaye movie. So you said you already were locked in 3 years ago?
Yep.
Oh, but that's moving forward. So that'll come after the Pac doc.
Yeah, but see,
Pac doc.
we're always so naive in this business. Like, oh
Right.
man, I'm gonna get this Marvin Gaye. It's gonna happen next year. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah,
you gotta get the
everything
script
takes
right.
forever.
You gotta
Yeah,
get the public,
everything,
you know.
man.
Right.
And
Bro,
so,
I've been running around that book, the book that we talked about. I had that thing for 20 years already,
I
man.
say that
Oh,
on
wow.
mic.
What, the Iceberg Slim?
That's a
Huh?
big property he has there. I'm telling you, that's a.
Well, I
big,
wrote a draft of it. That's how I got involved. I wrote a draft. Of course, they hired a Jewish kid from Long Island to do a draft. Of the
That's right.
Second
Pimp.
best-selling black written novel in history. But yeah, so I did a draft of it back in the day, and then you know there were all these chain of title issues, and somehow a group of us came out and got the rights. But you know, I don't want to do anything creative on it. I look at myself as kind of like a custodian.
Yeah.
You know,
But still,
I think it's so important for the culture.
that journey. I remember in
Yeah, because I've been
1998 when
precious, bro. I mean, I could have given that to a million people already, but I'm always like, yo, I want Allen. You know, you mentioned McQueen. I want like top level guy to take that and go do what they want to do.
But that
because-
I gotta say something to that, because that is what I'm most proud of about the Marvin Gaye feature film deal. Is I kept saying, like, we're not gonna take peanuts. We're not gonna do this chitlin circuit bullshit they do with black artists and black IP
Right.
and books and whatever.
Yeah.
It's got to be, you know, I've got to have creative control. It's got to be a green light. And
Yeah.
It's got to be this kind of budget, because I know what the ambition is here.
Right.
I heard a lot of black friends in the business. They always ask me, they go, why isn't, we don't have any like definitive Godfather or Raging Bull or, you know, Amadeus, even like a definitive.
Well, that's
you know.
what I thought the Iceberg Slim was, man.
Yeah.
Because that's like the birth of the American inner city kind of.
But
you know,
my
ghetto,
point is,
but-
though, if I don't care if you get it made.
Right.
If it's not, how do you say, like,
Authentic.
innovative?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about cinematically innovative,
Right.
organically analog style too. I'm not
Right.
talking about this bullshit, right? Like,
Right.
Right.
if it's not like classic, because there's not a definitive one. There hasn't been.
Right.
There's, by the way, we're in a great era. There's a lot of black filmmakers and writers and producers doing really good work right now. So let's
Right.
not even front. However, there still isn't a hands down undisputed like classic.
Right.
They're hood classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like-
you
like-
guys,
like
you guys
Belly,
are in
like
there,
Belly.
man. Menace is
But
in
hood
there. Dead
classics.
Presidents,
Hood-
Boys
hood-
in
Menace-
the Hood.
Menace is a
You said
society.
Juice, yeah.
When I saw Menace to Society, I really contemplated sitting inside my brother's car to rob a store. I thought about like I'm serious.
And he's serious too, I remember
was serious.
too.
I sat in. I had the gun in my lap, and I didn't know what I was going in there to get. Whether I wanted some money, some Cheetos, but Menace was so It was so amazing. It
You
was
were inspired.
Art. It was art, and it made a motherfucker want to get ill. You know what I mean? And then we rolled off and we went to Dairy Cream. It's like an ice cream shop, and we just had ice cream instead. So I didn't.
So you went the 180 with it.
Yeah.
No, he went, dude. He went the end of Boys in the Hood instead.
Yeah.
He went home like Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
he got the ice.
I was like,
cream.
nah, I'm not gonna rob
Larry
anybody
Fishburne
today.
tucked him in.
I was like,
game over.
But
you
they
know
don't-
how to
there
look
you
at
go.
you know how to look at a person's life, whether it's Dre, whether it's Iovine, and really kind of disseminate it, right, from character, following the bio of just even the work, and you really got a very good sense of both those guys by with the doc, So I think
And
that
I knew those dudes for so long.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But it was like you were exactly, and it felt like you were in it. Because I remember you telling me when we were talking about doing Pimp together, when we were kind of working on that thing, you were like, yeah, man, I can't deal with this kind of process. I'm getting ready to do this like doc on Dre and Iovine. And I don't remember if you told me that or if the producer Mike Sugar told me that. But I remember going like, what the fuck are you talking about? The guy's making a doc like on Iovine.
Yeah.
I'm like, what could that possibly entail?
Yeah.
And then it drops, and it's like this 5, 6, 12, 80 fucking
Yeah, it
part
was amazing.
And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, holy shit, man.
It
I'm
was
like,
deep.
No,
dude,
it was
it was
made-
like the archival, the way you just
Yeah.
kind of tell a story, whether it's like his relationships, Stevie Nicks, and he's sharing stuff. And
I always had a vision for that space, though. When I did American Pimp, I did my research.
another brilliant,
You know, I was
which is
I was
right.
like, these things can actually. I remember when I used to take scenes to Richard Plepler. I would show him scenes while I was making the Defiant ones, and he'd go,
Oh, yeah, of
he'd
course,
go,
of
Allen,
course.
Allen, this thing is punching above its weight. He would always say, this thing is punching above its weight. And I'm like, I knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, and yep, because
He's awesome, man. I love Plepler.
but he put it there, in HBO being the boxing kings at the time. You look now what's happened, and I always knew this because that was the first documentary that was marketed like a major gangster film. I'm talking about like a major rollout and it was the first documentary series that used the word event,
Right.
a docu-series event.
Right.
They do it at left,
Now
right, center
everyone
now,
does
right?
it. Yeah.
Guys,
Back then, the eyeballs for, if you look at something as big as Big Little Lies, the scripted series, they go, well, no doc could ever be at this level. Guess what? We're there now.
Right.
Last Dance, Tiger King. I knew we were going to be there because I saw the numbers on Defiant Ones. And we were 1 inch away from those big scripted dramas
Right.
and big scripted feature films. So we're there now. It's no longer the lightweight division. It's punching at its weight, and it's not a waste of time.
But you know what that goes to, though? That goes to just your intuition and, like,
going with your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just following it, and it's tricky because you can't always trust it, but, every once in a while you got to fucking take a flyer on your own intuition and...
Yeah.
What
no
I mean?
doubt.
But listen, you can make the wrong
Can I
choice.
say
you make
one
the
last
right
thing,
choice.
though?
Yeah,
Of course, man.
Because, I just want to say one last thing about it because it is a game changer for me. When I called Michael Lombardo to pitch him on a Dr. Dre documentary,
Right.
I called him. I said, what if I told you I can get the most enigmatic hip-hop artist of all time to open up and talk about his life? He said, who? I said, Dr. Dre. Green light, he said. This is like when Beats was really, and Dre, when you don't never see Dre.
Was this prior to the sale of Beats?
Yes.
Right.
This is
so,
2 years
so
prior.
that happens in the doc.
Yeah, while we're shooting
Yes,
that went
'cause I
down.
remember the
That
scene.
went down.
Right.
So keep in mind, I'm approaching HBO for Dr. Dre documentary.
Right.
Right.
Gotcha.
What people don't know is I had a deal with Jimmy Iovine, a record deal. I know Jimmy. That's my man.
Right.
Right. So when Lombardo goes green light, which you never hear. I never hear the word green light my whole career. He said, green light. We got one problem. I said, what's the problem? He goes, Jimmy Iovine just walked out of here with an Interscope documentary. I said, I'll call you right back. And went, bing, 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 bing. I was like, holy. So your gut, I was like, this is better. I knew right away.
Wow, so that's how it formed. So you didn't walk in there with both guys.
I walked in there with Dr. Dre. When he told me that Jimmy, they just signed off on Jimmy doing an Interscope documentary, I went, holy fuck, I got the idea. The reason why I wanted to take it longer is because back to what I feel white guy, black guy took over the world. You know, I was more into that than a singular story. I go, I know I'm biracial. Right. I'm damn near bipolar. I just ain't bisexual. You know, I'm just saying, like, I get that noise. I get what that is. I know what that is. I know what that's going to do for people.
Yeah, it was interesting, you know, again, that dovetail, seeing each guy's life individually, everything they've accomplished, and then how they
wove it together.
You know, yes, how they came together and then exploded this project.
Fucking crazy.
Thank you for letting me go over, gentlemen.
No, brother, yo, it's a pleasure, man.
We got to do a part 2 with him.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I want you to come back, you know.
I'll tell you where the bodies is, man.
We got to get you back in here, bro. We can talk for a million hours.
No, I
want to make you part of the Brothers special edition conversation too, because
brothers are brothers.
No, like actual brothers, because I think it's so, you know, and we'll get into this later, but you know, you had this long working relationship with your brother Albert, and I used to bust your balls all the time on the Iceberg Slim thing, going, "Yo, you're doing it with Albert too." I want the thing to say Hughes Brothers, and you'd be like, "Yo, Albert's not coming. You need to stop. Just stop with the Albert." You know what I mean? Like,
the Jackson 5 was cute for the first 5 years, man.
Because I think my brothers are all brilliant guys at what they do, but like our dynamics are so, you know, wildly different and processed. So at some later date, you got to come back and talk about just what it's like to work with family.
I'm with it. Because listen, it is what it is.
Allen Hughes, thank you, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on.
Boom! The pandemic pound.
Yes, sir.
So Macy, you probably don't remember me, but I met you with my really good friend Farnsworth Bentley years ago. And I was in one of your music videos. It was called When I See You. And I'm dancing in the street, and you guys had this whole reverse thing going.
Oh, right.
Yep. That was the first time I met you. So it's good to see you again and talk about all the things that you have going on. We're going to dive right into some music. What's going on with you right now with music?
Okay, so we're wrapping up a new album. It's gonna drop at the end of August probably. Wait till y'all hear. Oh my God, I'm telling. Nobody believes me.
It's crazy.
I got the biggest song of the century.
Oh, I love
believe
it. Claim it. You
no, I'm telling you. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever, dude. But I'm telling you. Wait till you hear it.
Well, I think that's kind of like, you know, the blessing of having one of the greatest voices ever.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And so that's like the end of August, the album, but there's the song out now called Thinking of You. That's out.
Mm-hmm.
The live version just dropped today, and then we have 2 more songs from the album coming out this month, but the album is end of August.
Did you come up with a title for the album yet?
It's called The Reset.
The Reset.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that?
Sounds like all our lives.
I know, right? We're resetting everything now.
Exactly. That's you just told me what to say when people ask me that question. It's all of our lives.
And I feel like 2020 made everybody want to kind of reset their lives. You know, I went through a lot. My cousin Andre Harrell, he passed last year, and you know, Kobe Bryant, Pop Smoke. I mean, the list can go on and on. So I think we all need a reset. So I think the title of your album is extremely appropriate.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's definitely a time of more self-awareness, right? Being locked in your house and really looking at your circles, the people you love, who to keep closest, you know, looking at your health, like perspective and values and priorities, you know?
Totally. I mean, I gained like 30 pounds and argued with my mom the whole time, but it was
good.
I got to be, my mom was there, so, you know, My mom's a really good cook, and she gave me some cooking secrets.
Nice.
Stuff like that. I watched a lot of TV. But, then that got old. And then, I think the last couple of weeks I kind of got up and, started actually doing stuff,
So when you were under the quarantine and everybody was locked down, I feel like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime became everybody's, like, soulmate. So what was your favorite show during the whole quarantine lockdown?
Okay, I watched, like, 90 shows. Let me think. You know what I actually got attached to that nobody ever really talks about is Animal Kingdom. I started watching that like nonstop.
I haven't seen it, but everybody loves it.
Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, everybody I know is telling me to watch Animal Kingdom.
It's like National Geographic type.
No, man. It's based on it was like an Australian movie. It's like kind of like a family outlaw, family, like an outlaw family, right?
Oh, I thought it was like some
Yeah.
bears eating deers and shit.
No.
No.
It's not a Nat Geo show.
Oh, because I got caught up in the actual national
Animal Kingdom, yeah.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom, like National Geographic.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a moose can fuck some
Yeah.
shit up.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like if you ever seen a moose get upset, like you don't want to fuck with a moose.
Yeah, it's Macy wanted to learn about the food chain and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I couldn't stop
She want to
watching
learn
it.
about nature over the pandemic.
And listen, we're going to be bouncing around, obviously, talking about different things. And, we're talking about music because, obviously, that's where I first fell in love with you. The acting and everything else came later. But for you, when you think about music and the state of music and where we are in music, like, what do you miss? What do you like? And what's your favorite album of all time? I know it's a mouthful.
Okay, of all time.
All time. If you had to go on another quarantine, lockdown forever.
Don't say that. Oh.
I know,
With
right?
one album.
With one album.
I only get one album.
I'll give you two because you
You
Macy
on a
Gray.
desert island during the quarantine.
During the quarantine.
With one album.
You're Macy
Okay.
Gray. You get two albums.
I'd have to take one of mine just for my own self-esteem. I'd have to, be
That's
able
right.
to,
That's right.
remember that I'm okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have a problem listening, like obviously you listen to your own voice, but I'm saying, can you disconnect enough from that to have like an objective kind of opinion about things? How's the objectivity with that?
Like later, because when I first, when you first do it, it's like the greatest thing, but like some of my albums, some of my songs I've heard back like, maybe 10 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, that's terrible, So, but at the time when you're in it, it sounds good, of course. Else you wouldn't
Right.
put it
So
out.
right. Exactly. It's the same thing with kind of writing, creating. I can't listen to my own voice, so I would never listen to myself on a podcast. But it's obviously different for you and what you do. So
It's hard for me to watch myself. Like when I do TV shows, I never watch it.
I don't like to watch myself either.
It's weird.
Unless
Well,
I'm
just 'cause-
taking the picture.
Yeah, I just get so wrapped up in all the little mistakes, and then it just brings me down. I
Yeah,
start
it's
watching.
just it's everybody's got a different process for we're all kind of creative in our own way, and everybody has to find that process. You know what? It's interesting that you said that everything sounds great when you first hear it back, right? It's like, but then as time passes, you might reflect and look differently on it because you've grown as an artist. So I mean, that's a process, a maturation. Which I have the same thing about scripts I wrote.
Yeah. So you're stuck on this island. You got your album. What's the second album? We going back to that.
Oh God. Let me think. I'd probably take, it's hard, really difficult. This is maybe the hardest question of the century. I think, you know what I would take? Probably Led Zeppelin 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Now
To
you're
me,
talking.
that's
Now you're
just-
talking Rob's talk.
Yeah,
I could tell he just got excited a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
He was like, huh?
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin.
that vape pen kicked in.
That
like
vape
hard,
pick
bro.
came.
It really, I'm not gonna lie, man. I hit it like 3-4 times before we started.
Yeah, because you're real
I'm
mellow.
on another vibe.
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
real mellow.
She talks, but I hear like, I try just singing, playing in my head.
All right, so you got your album, you got Led Zepp, and keeping it going about with music. When you think about politics and you think about music, I feel like back in the day they went hand in hand. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On this new album where you approach political issues on your album, where you talk, because everybody know what's going on with the flag, you know, and that's trending everywhere, which I salute you on. They need to redesign that shit.
Wow, I didn't know that was your position.
That's my position, because you know why that's my position? I'm from South Carolina, and I grew up in a town called Lynchburg, South Carolina. And people always ask me, why don't you go home and visit? I was like, because I'm from Lynchburg, South Carolina. They should change the name of the town. So, you know, Paul Mooney said it best. Betsy Ross didn't make that flag. It was a bunch of slaves. They were asleep. She was sleeping. And some black women was putting the stars on it and the stripes and all that shit. But it wasn't made for us. So I think that they should revisit the flag. I think the flag should include everybody. And if we're part of the American dream, I want to see me in that flag, and I don't see me in that flag. To me, that flag is just like the Confederate flag, and I grew up in South Carolina. So when I was in elementary school, the American flag went up, and right after that, the Confederate flag went up. So to me, they're the same fucking flag.
Let's back it up, just like you know.
Yeah.
Move it back a second. Where does the op-ed piece? It was for Market Watch, right?
Yeah.
So where does that start? Like, how does that?
What was the inspiration behind it?
And who makes the introduction? Are you like, I want to write a piece? They come to you? Is it a conversation you had with someone? Where does that begin?
It really, like you said, it's. I think a lot of people do not feel that flag represents, you know, like look, if you read about it. So George Washington, you know, the story goes, he went to Betsy Ross and said he wanted a flag that would promote unity and freedom because a war was going on. So to me, that flag doesn't present that. Based on how it's been treated and what it's been used to represent, the people that wave it, you know, with their own agenda behind it.
Right.
So to me, if it doesn't say the same thing to everybody, then it's not for everybody.
That's
but
right.
We all live here, so I'm saying, make a flag that everybody is unified on. Make a flag that everybody can celebrate. Why do some people have to get anxiety over that flag?
But I think the same people that probably put you on that train of thought, the people present at the Capitol insurrection, right, that are waving it, you know, they kind of go on this narrative that they're the true patriots. So you have to know that far right leaning population's never going to say, let's get a new flag. So then the real question is, if we have like multiple flags, like how do we maybe keep that flag but modify it in a way that, you know what I mean? Like, is there a middle ground, I guess what I'm asking, you know, in how that, you know, that kind of conversation plays out? Like what is the compromise there for, you know?
I don't think you have to find a compromise. It's not up to us. You know, I think the last flag was designed by, the flag we have now, designed by a 17-year-old kid. He did it for a school project. And he added 2 stars. There were 48 states at the time. This is a true story. And Hawaii and Alaska were asking for statehood. And he added the 2 stars just in case. This is just a 17-year-old kid. And the president said, why not? It's up to the president. It's not anything that we all get to vote on. Historically, maybe Biden will change that. But that's why everybody's like, who do you think you are redesigning the flag? And I'm just like, you know, Betsy Ross, you know, worked on a farm. Anybody can do it. I'm down. If somebody comes up with something you like better, then let's do it. But the meaning of the flag has changed. And so I'm saying that it needs to be redesigned because a lot of people don't feel safe with that flag. We don't feel like.
I totally agree. When I drive through neighborhoods and I see the American flag outside someone's home, I don't feel like that's a house I can visit. I don't feel like I'm welcomed in that house. You know, when I see it, it just makes me feel, and like I say, and maybe it's because I'm from the deep South. So for me, the American flag and the Confederate flag are the same fucking flag.
I mean, they still carry the Confederate flag. People are still going to carry this one. But I'm saying, what's
I
wrong
used
with
to have all
progress?
these
What's
Leonard
wrong with
Skinner
a
shirts.
duo?
I had all these Leonard Skinner concert tees. I'd never wear them now, obviously. You know what I mean? It's just Confederate everything.
Yeah,
on those
Confederate
things.
everything, yeah.
You never really look at it. All you look at is Leonard Skinner. But then when you start to break it down.
Listen, my favorite show was the Dukes of Hazzard when I was a kid.
Right.
They drove a Dodge Charger, the General Lee, with the Confederate flag on the top.
Right.
And I love Bo and Luke Duke. But
Right.
now, as an adult, when I look at it, I was like, oh, shit, they were just some good old boys. You know what I mean? And when you think about it now in hindsight, you know, they were promoting something totally different.
Yeah, but I don't even think they knew what they were probably promoting.
Oh, no, I mean,
like,
their
they
hair
were just probably just showing up and
yeah,
shooting
their hair
shit.
was too nice to
You know what I
even
mean?
think about it.
Macy, what's the reaction been? Like, directed at you, you know? Are you, like, navigating a sea of trollers? Are you getting a lot of support?
Yeah. A lot of, you know, trollers, a lot of like hate, like you calling me names and all this other stuff. You know, all I did was make a suggestion. It's just an idea. But I think that it needs to be getting discussed. You know, that's all I'm trying to do is just get it out there so they at least start the process.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, that was kind of the question I want to know is like, why you? Like, how did this start with you? How come nobody else has said this? I never heard anybody say this until I saw TMZ, Macy Gray, we should change the flag. Like, how do you, why do you wake up and it's like Monday, you go, you know what, this is the way I feel and I want to do an op-ed piece and somebody calls on your behalf? Like, how does, like.
That's exactly what happened. I wrote the piece. I wrote down how I was feeling, and then I gave it to my PR, and she pitched it to a bunch of editorials. I think 14 turned it down, and then Market Watch liked it, but they held on to it for a week because they wanted it to hit on Juneteenth. So that was their idea.
Gotcha.
Speaking of Juneteenth, what are your thoughts on it becoming a national holiday?
I think that's amazing. I think, you know, the more holidays, the more chances we all get to celebrate and take a day off and drink and have barbecue. You know, absolutely. I don't know what the official celebration is going to be. You know, like July 4th, we're all going to go watch the, you know,
fireworks.
I don't know if you've established what you do on Juneteenth yet, but.
Well, you know, like there are parts of the U.S. I took a hike with somebody today who was telling me that a district in, like a county in New Jersey is getting rid of the names of all holidays. They do not want to, like, title any of the holidays anymore, and kids are being told, like, have a good holiday weekend. Like, or have a good day off. That's what they call it. Have a good day off.
Oh, wow.
Have a good weekend off. Have a good week off. Have a good day off. Like, they're not calling it the holidays anymore because they feel like that people are offended by certain religions, ethnicities, like their specific holidays.
That's deep.
It's kind of wild. So,
yeah, that's kind of
wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we can't say Merry Christmas and have a great.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that's just one county in Jersey. You have to find out the exact thing.
What part of Jersey is that?
It's a county with an M.
With an M.
That's all I remember.
That's how you remember.
I'll look it up, man.
I think the holiday to me is great, but you know, agreeing with Macy, I don't know how we're going to celebrate it. I don't know if we're going to have barbecues and fireworks. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's like a remembrance kind of thing, like a high holiday in the Jewish holidays, you know, Yom Kippur, where you're actually like atoning for things, but or if it's a day to just go, you know, reflect on, you know, how far we've come, how far we haven't come, to really just kind of, you know, look at everything. I don't know,
it's interesting.
I don't know,
I think it's because, you know, 420 only comes once. We need another weed holiday.
Yeah, we need another weed holiday. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. We need another weed holiday. We got 420. What about 520, 620, 720?
Does it have to be in the 20s?
It don't have to be in the 20s. It could be in the teens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
What else? What are we talking about? What else is going on?
Everything, you know. It's a wild, wild west out here.
Tell us more about your My Good Foundation and some of the work that you guys have been doing over there for the last few years.
All right. So, well, we're actually only a year old, but My Good, what we do is we support the families who have lost loved ones due to police violence.
Oh, wow.
So when you see those stories on television, we step in and we help out the families, you know, help them get back on their feet. It's mostly mental health services that get requested. And but people need all kind of stuff, help with funerals, because here's the thing, I know that it's right, they call it a black issue, but more white people are shot by the police every year than anybody.
Right.
It's proportionately a black thing, but it's everybody's issue. But one thing nobody ever talks about is when you see those stories, all those kids are in the hood. None of them, living in Beverly Hills or the Hamptons. It happens in lower class neighborhoods, and that's what needs to be addressed. Is why the police feel like it's okay to, go buck wild in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, because growing up in an inner city myself, a lot of times when people lost their sons or their kids to police shootings, those families then went in debt, to bury their kids. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't afford to bury them properly, or they'll do little family gatherings, and people would, back then they didn't have like GoFundMe's and stuff like that. So a lot of times people would literally go in debt because a nice funeral was like $9,000. Most people don't have like $9,000 laying around to bury somebody. Right. So that's why a lot of people get cremated.
Right, so that's what My Good does. We help out and stuff like that. There's a story of a mom. She was like her son. Well, you know the story of Oscar Grant, Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right, so she was just telling me, it made me cry. So when her son was shot, she scraped up the money for the funeral, but all his friends are kids. They're like 19, 20, and none of them had a suit. So she just needed $400 to get all the pallbearers suits because she wanted them to look nice at her son's funeral, So stuff like that.
Wow.
We step in and support. But there are, mothers that went homeless after because they suffered so much depression that they couldn't work, and they don't tell you about stuff like that. But that's what we do. And anybody who wants to support or donate, it's mygood.org.
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 Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
There's a lot of advocacy you're doing, and and it's pretty amazing.
It's not a lot. I mean, we all should pitch in and do something. I mean, I'm doing My Good, and I'm really passionate about this whole flag thing. I just, to me, it's just about messaging. It's just about, this is a country, we're the most integrated country in the world, right? That's what we're known for. Like, you take culture out of the USA,
right?
And what do you have? You don't have a military. You really don't have much. You know what I mean? We will have a hard time competing with Canada. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if that's what we do, that's what built this country, that is what, that's why we're all here, then why not celebrate it? Why not put it in the flag and let everybody know that we're all in this together, that this is not a country where we fight. Like, all of us are here. So in the flag, you'll see the stars are the colors of everybody's skin tone, from yours to mine. Right. And it just sends a message. Like, they were always begging Donald Trump, please say, something that everybody's included and that racism is bad. But I'm saying, save all these guys the trouble, because all they care about is getting elected, and just put it in the flag, Right. And it sends a message like, this is everybody's country. That's all. I'm just trying to bring everybody together. But it's the little things like that, and they matter,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, people of all religions, ethnicities, colors, they all fought and died for that flag too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
What they died for a flag.
No, but I'm saying, like, they died in service to our country. I'm talking about the people who actually served. I'm saying that was the flag they were doing it for.
Exactly. So we shouldn't be honoring a flag that represents hate, not to everyone, but to enough people where it matters. People are kneeling on and burning and turning their back to it. And to me, that's a hint. Like, maybe we need to redo it. My thing is, why not? Like, what's everybody, tripping on? It's been changed many times. Like, what's wrong with a new flag?
Do you think there's been so much change so fast? I mean, things have really progressed in the last 4 or 5 years on all fronts, and all the movements we've had here in the States. Do you think it's a lot for certain people to digest that much at once? And maybe that's why there's pushback on things that someone would look at and go, you know what, that kind of inclusivity, that's obvious. But to other people, so much change is so scary, right?
Yeah. To most people,
I mean, change to everybody's a little bit scary.
You know what I mean?
I'm really nervous about doing this podcast because it's new shit.
But you're doing a great job.
You're doing good. Don't worry about it.
Thanks, Macy.
Yeah, change is scary, and I think that's the whole pushback. It's just fear. It's like, oh no, well then what? Then what's gonna happen? I get that, but it's gonna change anyway.
Right.
You know, like I said, the flag's been redesigned 26 times. It's gonna happen. Like all the 20-year-old kids coming up, they're gonna want to change the flag.
Right.
Yeah, I love Puerto Rico as a state. I think it's dope. I think there'll be a lot of people there who are mad at you because like they're using it as like a tax haven spot, and you're gonna fuck that up, right? And then I think DC. I don't know. Is DC really big enough to be a state? I mean, isn't it like a town? You know what I mean? Like I've only been there like once or twice when I was younger, like Georgetown, shit like that. But it's kind of small, you know. Like, I mean, do these guys really need their own state? All these politicians, do we got to give them a state? Can't they just have like a neighborhood? You know what I mean? Like they're just
they've been lobbying for statehood for a long time. Right. And then Biden said that he thinks DC should be a state, and it's Washington D.C. There's a comma before.
Yeah, but you know what those guys are gonna do? Those guys are gonna give themselves like the best tax breaks.
Oh, they have the best tax breaks. Oh yeah. They have
the best benefits for the state. Right?
Healthcare is gonna be amazing.
The roads are perfect. You know. Like you'll be like, wow, DC is just such a perfect place to live. It's utopia. You know?
Heaven on earth.
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
Wow.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. But
you have three children. Did I read that correct?
Yes, I have 3 grown-ass kids who get on my nerves.
Wow, it's kind of weird. I can't really picture you with grown children. But how much do the children inspire the soul? Like this conversation is deep on the sense that it's pretty clear you have a soul, you know, and you, in terms of advocacy, you don't even see it as like, hey, I'm being an advocate. You just go, hey, I'm doing what I think I should be doing. Yeah. Which is trying to move things forward in the right thing. How much of that, you know, was inspired by having the kids? Because I know the difference. I have a 5-year-old son, and I know the difference it's made in my life, you know, and the way I see the world and the kind of world I don't leave behind for my kids. But how much do you attribute to having children? Like if you had no kids, you'd be like, I don't give a shit about anything. You know what I mean? Like you'd just be like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
But you got these kids. You're like, oh, you know, I'm not going to be here forever. I hope it's good for my grandkids.
Exactly.
But you got nothing. These people with no kids, they just don't. They're like, oh, I'm going on vacation. Like they're just not thinking. They're thinking about shit.
Oh, I know. Can I tell you, when people who don't have kids complain, I just turn off. I'm like, you have to look after one person. Be quiet, you know.
Yeah. Or when people without kids tell you about like, hey, I am a parent because I got a dog.
Oh, I hate those people.
That's it. Because I was a dog dad multiple times. Right now, I'm like, I know what it's like to be responsible. I gotta go home. I gotta feed my dog. But you're not really responsible till you tell your 5-year-old kid, listen, hey, I want you to jump in the bath, and he's like, fuck you. I don't want to take a bath. Then you're really learning about what real responsibility looks like. You know.
I know. That's why you can't teach them those words, because then they start saying them to you.
Yeah, but you know they're going to hear them in my house, man. You know, and I'm straight up like, listen, this is not a democracy. This is a hypocrisy. I tell you not to do things that I'm going to do right in front of you. That's the way this house is going to work.
Yeah, all day. I know. I used to sneak around the corner to smoke weed, and now I gave up because they caught me a long time ago. You know?
Well, it's kind of hard, you know, when I never smoked weed growing up. I just started like smoking weed over the pandemic and just hit that vape pen right now. Yeah. Even though it's only like it's like 5 to 1 CBD to THC, but that's what a lightweight I am.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow. I'm really feeling that shit right now. But like when I was growing up, it would be like, you know, my dad saying, hey, you want a beer? And you're like 15. You're like, yeah. But if I smoked weed, he would have fucking gone nuclear on me. I mean, it would have been like the, you know, the button was pushed on the bomb.
Yeah. Weed was like crack cocaine. If they
right,
caught you
because they didn't know
weed.
it's a gateway drug. It's, you know, what did they know? They grew up that generation from the 50s grew up with that Reefer Madness movie where the guy's head is like blowing off his neck.
Oh yeah,
from like hitting the reefer, you know.
My dad would jump straight to, if you smoke a joint, you do heroin. I'm like, what?
Right, it doesn't stop. But
True.
how would you be able to push back against your son smoking weed when now you walk outdoors in LA? It's just there's more. Yeah, there's more canna shops than there are liquor stores. You know what I mean? It's everywhere.
Yeah, plus they promote it as wellness. So what are you gonna do? I gave up.
Yeah, I think it's wellness.
My mother still yells at me if she sees weed in my room and stuff, but it's hard now. You're right, especially if you live in LA.
It's super.
I mean, I believe it probably has some benefits. Like, you know, it's definitely not helping me get my ass to a gym. That's for sure. I smoked this weekend. The next day, I was just like, I was lazy. I'm like, I'm gonna take today off. Today's my day off. Meanwhile, before I smoked, I had a vision of myself doing like.
So you smoking indica? No, he's smoking
indica.
indicas. You gotta smoke a hybrid to get you up.
I smoked a hybrid. I only smoke hybrid. I won't smoke indica, man. Dude, I smoked an indica like 2 months ago. It's the only time I like fired up an indica joint. And I was moving upstairs and my upper body was going, but I felt like my lower body wasn't moving, but it was. And I was like, man, lightweight shit. Just lightweight shit.
You're still a rookie. You still got some time.
Yeah, some people can't handle indica.
Yes.
Oh, they don't. And when you get older, all it does is put you to sleep. So don't worry about it.
See, I like hybrid. I like shit that brings me up. Don't bring me down.
You see, but I can't fuck with the I love the hybrid. I can't just have not indica sativa because then I run the risk of just having a heart attack and exploding, imploding, and dying after a panic attack.
Guaranteed
I'll just start sweating. I'll be like, Macy. So another thing, that would be like a mess. Macy, I really hope this song changes the world. The song that you got coming out that's going to be the biggest song of all time because I actually believe it. I actually think you have one of my favorite voices of all time. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. No, you're going to love it. I know I say that and you're like, oh, okay. But wait till you hear it.
Are you writing everything? Do you collaborate with other, you know, lyricists, producers, musicians? How do you do it?
Yeah, so this album is actually under the name Macy Gray and the California Jet Club. It's a band now, and it's my band that I've been touring with for the past few years, and we went in the studio and we wrote all the songs together. And the producer is Tommy Parker. He produced my last album, Ruby. He's awesome. So yes, totally a collaborative thing. It's a movie, and you're gonna love it. We did a cover. Remember that song by Body Count Cop Killer?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Enough for that, yeah. So we did a cover of that. That's amazing.
Wow.
You just hear it. I wish I could just drop it into the chat, but I don't think they.
Well, that was a controversial song, man, for sure. That Ice-T.
Yeah.
Because I remember that would I feel like every 5 to 10 years that comes back to kind of haunt them in a way. You know what I mean? Like somebody kills a cop and then that becomes like what inspired it. You know?
Yeah, scary.
So
scary.
Yeah.
So Macy, we were just talking about having kids, and obviously it's our roles as parents to tell our kids they can do everything, they can do anything, that they're special. At what age did you realize that you were special? You had a gift, your voice, your style. At what age you was like, oh shit, I got some dope shit with me?
God, maybe 5 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
5 years? Wait, 5 years old?
5 years old. And
I thought she said 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, she did say.
You said 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's when I really got my shit together. And I realized
that's great. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
What I'm capable of.
Yeah, I'm planning. I'm planning on getting my shit together and realizing I got something in about 12 to 16, 18 months. That's my timeline.
That's your timeline.
Yeah. I'm like, if I can't say that, then I'm fucked.
Now.
Yeah. You know?
Wow.
No, sometimes in your evolution, that's what it takes, right? You look back and you go, oh man, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. The game really started for me right here. You know what I mean? Like the Rob Weiss pre-Entourage game, post Amongst Friends, was filled with failures and learning lessons.
Yep.
And things that did not happen. But the real game where I felt like I understood the game a little bit better happened for me when Entourage began.
Gotcha.
So it was in that period. So I can understand you going the first few albums, it's raw talent, it's not all coming together. or it hadn't all been together, and then later on starting to go, and this is when it gels?
Well, I just finally really understood like what I do best and what I have to offer and what I should stick to and what I should let go of, you know. But I think, you know, people think they're grown up, but you don't really settle into you're like maybe 45.
Got you.
I think we got to also set back the, you know, when we get done with a lot of the different kind of, I don't want to say agendas, not the right thing, but a lot of the different, pushing a lot of progressive movements.
Yeah.
I think we got to start them with the ageism. We have to get into the ageism. Because she's right. Motherfuckers don't really know who they are until they hit like 40-something.
No,
and if you're creative, the older you get in a weird way, you either keep going, right, till you die, or, you know, or you kind of transcend to become this elder statesman, particularly in Hollywood or something, where you're advising, giving advice. But I actually think people get better and better and better. So I think, you know.
At least that's the goal.
We have to make a push for the 50-somethings, the 60-somethings.
That's right.
They, you know what? I'll give them 25 years. They could hate on me at 75. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
No, it's just like a qualified, you know, arrogance. Like you know, like now that I get it and I get why I'm here, like, you know, like I know I'm a bad bitch, you know. Like
That's
people
right.
say,
That's right.
And they just say it, but they don't even know why. Like I could tell you why. And that happened like maybe 5 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you can say something about me, and you know, I'll think about it, and it might even hurt my feelings, but I already know what I am, you know. But a lot of people that happens a lot earlier, and some people never figure that out.
Yeah,
That's true.
But once you get there, you can do anything. You can change the flag. You can be on your podcast. You can do whatever.
That's right.
You can have the greatest song of the whole century.
Of the whole century.
Hell yeah, man! I can't wait.
I can't wait to hear the song.
Likewise.
No,
I'm looking forward
almost
to it. I'm looking forward to
it's
it.
almost done.
It's
You got to send it over and give us a listen when you can. You know, when you're ready to share.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, he keeps trying to ask a question, and every time he does, you guys cut him off.
He always cut me off.
He was going to ask you if you plan on touring.
Who, me?
I was trying to get deeper.
I was asking if you have any upcoming concerts coming up.
Yeah, touring.
Nope. Okay,
See,
There
I
we
knew
go.
the
There you go.
answer was
There
going to
you
be
go.
no.
There you go.
I knew
Good
the
to
answer
know.
was going to be no,
Okay.
so I tried to go for other shit.
Yeah.
That's why he cut
I'm
me
like,
off.
let me dive in
Straight
for
to
the deep
point.
shit.
Love
How
it.
much of your children inspired you to change the planet? You know? She's like, they didn't inspire me at all. I just got the idea for an op-ed, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to write this shit.
Yo, I like him smoking weed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Canceled.
No, we go out
Canceled.
next for tour. We go out in 2022.
2022.
2022?
Nice. Good
Yeah.
to know. Good to know.
All right, dope.
Wow. Well, listen. First off, I just want to thank you for joining us. We are so new to this shit. This is like.
O'Neal was actually a replacement for another partner who spiraled off the planet. You know?
No. They looked up and they was like, hold on for a second. We need a black guy. And they called me, and I showed up.
It's not even true. You know, it wasn't even a conversation about color, race.
I know.
And Nathan just goes, what about O'Neal? And I go, yo, it's a great idea. But later, the optics of it were like, yo, that is a much better look. A much better idea for the vibe and the voice of this show.
There you go.
But at first I was just like, yo, fucking O'Neal's cool. He's the one with the daughter. And
All that.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, that's cool. If you're serious, that's amazing. If you really just
No, it's really true.
No,
Like,
we just
this
met.
is-
It's very true.
You are our 6th guest now. But we have a
Who is-
big roster of people coming on.
But what's the show like? So you just the three of you and you just talk about it.
Well, yeah, the idea for the show was like, you know, the Cray, right? You can see it behind us. And it was because, you know, we're all coming out of this pandemic. And frankly, the world is fucking crazy. You know what I mean? It just is. And I say to these guys, like, I dodge crazy in my life like it's like a zombie movie. I feel like every time I turn around, I'm in like some scenario that I'm like, what the fuck universe is this, right? Because, and you know, it's a really great conversation to try to figure out where it's all kind of stemming from. I don't know if it's bots. I don't want to sound like conspiracy theorists. But there's so much going on. So we were like, hey, it's the Cray, you know, and like we want to have fun convos about it. And go, Macy, you know, we know what you're doing, right? It's controversial right now. The conversation, you know, the narrative that you have at least taken a position in and wrote about.
Right.
So we don't have to ask you about what you're dealing with. That's crazy, because that is just a big thing that you might look back on down the road and go, whoa, I had a crazy idea and I wrote this piece and I got people thinking and talking and really kind of, at the very least, if the flag doesn't change, it's part of the conversation.
No, and that's what I love about this
You know what I mean?
conversation is like when it started to trend and all these on the internet or whatever, I kind of got mad at myself because I was like, damn, I should have said something. I feel like sometimes people just walk around not saying shit, and the fact that you said something and getting this conversation going is so important. So I applaud you for that.
Right. And, but I'm saying it is, you know what I mean? I wasn't trying to imply that I think it was a crazy idea. What I'm saying is it's just, you know what I mean? These are conversations that are unprecedented.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I mean about the times and the progression and everything else. But yeah, so the idea was basically the Cray, we're crazy, life is crazy, the world is crazy. Let's just chop it up, have a great conversation, and maybe inspire some people talking about our own crazy.
That's right.
Oh, love it. That's great. You guys are doing good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Macy.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks. We also want to let you know we've been using some of your music as our theme song and our transition. I'm only kidding.
She was like, hold on, where's that royalty check?
She's like, let me call the legal team.
She was like, hold on.
Thanks, Macy.
No, I'm going to send you some records you can use.
Awesome. Please
that
do.
Would be amazing.
That would be
Awesome. Much love.
crazy.
Thank you.
That would be
No pun
amazing.
intended.
That would be great.
That would be great.
She's like, it was an empty gesture. I was only kidding.
I was only kidding. She was like, I'm never
I
going
know
to
I'm going to do it.
Awesome. We're
No,
going to
I'm
use
not
some.
the show. I'm going to listen in, I'm going to be a fan.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Macy. We appreciate you coming on so much.
Thank you for taking the time today to hang out with us. I really appreciate it.
All right.
All right, stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray. Crazy.
Love fucking Macy Gray. But yo, it was an amazing episode.
Great episode.
Macy Gray.
Allen Hughes.
Allen Hughes.
Gotta thank Allen Hughes.
We gotta thank him.
And of course, every episode brought to you by our dear friends over at Mercari.
Yes.
The
Best
Cray
online
store.
marketplace.
Yes, the Cray store is now live on Mercari. We got some cool products. We got Privé Revaux shades on there. We got
From Ashley Benson.
From Ashley Benson. We got Adam Carolla's latest book. We got Perez Hilton's memoir. We got a limited edition card by Robert Ory. And we got some personal stuff in there too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you got in there, O'Neal?
I think I'm going to give away, sell one of my swimsuits from my swimsuit collection, Neon Sunset.
Love
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna give away my hairpiece, bro, because I just started growing my own, man. So I'm gonna give away my first hairpiece. I don't know. I'm gonna find something personal. I haven't fully landed on it yet. You know what I mean? But am I supposed to know right now? You give me like scary eyes. Why can't it just go up and be a surprise?
This guy was literally
It'll be a
doing
surprise.
spring cleaning and threw away Yeezys that he's never worn. And now he doesn't know. Now he doesn't know what he's going to
Because I
want
want
to
to make
donate.
it personal. I want to give some entourage shit. I gotta
There we
find
go.
it in my
Okay,
house.
cool.
Maybe I'll fucking give away sell one of my Emmy nomination certificates or something.
That's
you know what I mean?
Oh.
That's actually kind of dope.
Dude, I don't know where they are. They're in a box. Like my kid's mother always yells at me, like, "You need to save that stuff for your son." I'm like, well, like, what the fuck's he gonna do? With it? You know what I mean? Was
So
he gonna decorate
I,
his college dorm room with it?
Yeah,
you know?
I don't understand.
Hey, you don't know Carlos' decorating plans.
I don't even know he's going to college or going to be in a dorm either.
That part.
I spoke with my dear friends over at Sprayground, who, as you know, they're one of the leading backpack company brands out there. The unique thing about the brand is all their stuff is limited edition.
Gotcha.
So they'll make like 100 of them, never make it again. So I got some really cool limited edition bags that will never be created
Look at
again.
you.
So I'm gonna hook one of them up, and I'm gonna throw one into the
Fancy, huh?
store, and one lucky
Nice.
lucky guy or girl can go ahead and purchase it, and
There you go.
and wear it on their back every
Yeah,
day.
maybe I'll get some like Riga Machado like jiu-jitsu gear, some gis and cool stuff.
There you go.
Put
The
it on.
ideas are flowing.
It's flowing.
Yeah.
Jump
we're
on
gonna
the
figure
Cray
it out.
store
Figure it
on
out.
Mercari's the
Mercari
best.
and see what we
The
settled
best.
on.
The best.
Yeah. Like we would be here without them, but we wouldn't be whole. We wouldn't be the people
There'd
we
be
are.
a big
We
part of
wouldn't.
us missing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Best
we love,
part of
we
me.
love
We
all
love you,
Mercari
Mercari.
partners.
Part of
Yeah.
me.
We'll be back
All right,
next
see you
week with
next
more
week.
See you
of
next
the
week.
Cray.
The Cray.